Welcome to the World Register. The World Register is an independent news source providing truthful, unbiased, and timely reporting about people, places, and events. Reuters news agency reports that the National Hurricane Center forecast shows potentially deadly storm surges of up to 15 feet along some parts of the coast as the storm made landfall in South Florida. Torrential rains and 130-mile-per-hour winds knocked out power to over 1.6 million homes and businesses on the mainland, according to utilities. Irma, which prompted one of the largest evacuations in U.S. history, is expected to cause billions of dollars in damage to the third most populous U.S. state, a major tourism hub with an economy comprising about 5% of the U.S. gross domestic product. Iranian Fars news agency reports that Jafar al-Hosseini, senior commander of Iraq's Hezbollah battalions, warned that the group will target U.S. forces if they do not leave the Iraqi territories after the Islamic State terrorist group is defeated. Speaking with the Islamic Republic news agency, al-Husseini said, quote, "If the U.S. forces refrain from leaving the Iraqi territories after annihilation of the ISIL terrorist group, the Islamic resistance of Iraq will target them," end quote. The Hezbollah battalion's commander accuses the U.S. forces of protecting the Islamic State and helping their leader, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi, escape the western part of the city in Mosul in northern Iraq. The Islamic State has been reduced from an estimated 25,000 militants to a few thousand in scattered pockets along the Syria and Iraq's border. The U.S. started flying crewed aircraft over Iraq and sent some troops in June of 2014. In August of that year, the U.S. began supplying the Iraqi Kurdish Peshmerga with weapons, dropped food for refugees fleeing from the Islamic State, and began airstrikes against the terrorist group. Since then, the U.S. and coalition forces have committed thousands of troops, flown tens of thousands of sorties striking terrorist targets, evacuated and liberated countless areas in Iraq and Syria, and trained and armed militias in the area to counter the Islamic State threat. And in another report by Reuters news agency, Egypt's security forces killed 10 suspected Islamic State militants on Sunday in a shootout during a raid on 2 apartments in central Cairo. According to the report, Egypt's Interior Ministry said 9 policemen, including 4 officers, were injured during the 2 raids. As previously reported by multiple news outlets and the World Register, the Islamic State has killed scores of Coptic and other Christians in Egypt since the beginning of this year. Thousands more have been displaced with little more than what they could carry. Coptic Christians have requested asylum from other countries to escape further persecution.